I'm nowhere near the leagues of the greats, Djokovic, Sabalenka, Alcaraz. Alexandra Eala plays down huge social media numbers and Pacquiao comparisons. Alexandra Eala's Australian Open run came to an end in the first round on Tuesday, but not before the 20-year-old delivered a performance that underlined both her growing stature and the connection she has built with fans around the world. Eala was beaten 6-0, 3-6, 2-6 by Alicia Parks in Melbourne, a match that swung dramatically after a one-sided opening set and was played in front of a crowd that far exceeded the capacity of the outside court on which it was scheduled. "Yeah, it was a tough one," Eala said afterwards. "I think it's only normal that with a loss comes disappointment and being upset. But then again, it's another opportunity for me to take, learn, and grow as a player." While the result went in Park's favor, Eala admitted the loss was made more emotional by the level of support she received, with thousands of fans packing into the stands and surrounding walkways. "It was so heartwarming," she said. "I think that's one of the things that makes a loss like today a little bit harder, because I know a lot of people were rooting for me. But then again, Alicia played really well." Eala said she felt that support throughout the match, even as the momentum shifted away from her late in the decider. "I really appreciate just the fact that everyone came out and really squeezed into that cozy court," she said. "I felt so loved even when I was 5-2 down in the third. I still felt the love. So I'm really appreciative and super thankful." The scale of attention surrounding Eala has grown rapidly over the past year, something she admitted can be overwhelming at times, particularly away from match play. "It's a process to take it all in," she said. "This week there were definitely elements that were a bit overwhelming, especially during my practices. I didn't expect that many people to be there." Still just 20 years old, Eala said learning how to manage that attention is now part of her development. "Losses are part of the learning process. Training is part of the learning process," she said. "I'm still young, so I'm learning how to deal with all of this attention, but at the same time being grateful." Despite the increased spotlight, Eala explained that her off-season remained largely unchanged, with a heavy focus on training. "In the off-season, not much changed," she said. "Off-season in the end is training. The training was hard. The training was intense." One of the highlights, however, came away from the professional tour, when she represented her country at the SEA Games. "That was getting to compete in the SEA Games," she said. "I had so much fun with my teammates, and it was really a safe space for me to be more extroverted and really enjoy myself." To help manage the noise and energy that now follows her onto court, Eala often wears headphones during her walk-on, a small routine that helps her stay focused. "I listen to a lot of music," she said. "It can get quite loud when you're walking into a court like that. Sometimes people don't understand that you're in the zone, so I feel like headphones kind of give that message." Asked about the mismatch between the demand to see her play and the size of the court she was allocated, Eala made it clear she remains focused on what she can control. "I have no say in the courts that I'm put on," she said. "Whatever court they put me on, I go and compete, and that's what I did today." On court, Eala said she deliberately blocks out the broader significance of the moment, including what her presence means for Philippine tennis, in order to stay locked into her match plan. "I'm big on compartmentalizing," she said. "Right before or during the match is not the time to look at the big picture. Even though it's a grand slam and my first main draw in Australia, it's still just another match, and I have to treat it as such." Only after the match does she allow herself to reflect. "There are moments when you walk off and realize there are so many people giving you so much love," she said. "That helps cushion the loss." Eala confirmed Melbourne is one of the cities where she has felt the strongest Filipino support, alongside New York. "This was definitely one of the bigger Filipino turnouts," she said. "I would say the top two so far have been Melbourne and New York." While online numbers and crowd sizes continue to rise, Eala said she remains grounded and reluctant to compare herself to the sport's biggest names. "I'm nowhere near the leagues of the greats, Djokovic, Sabalenka, Alcaraz," she said. "But I like to think that I have a following for a reason, and that the platform I've built has a positive effect on my demographic." She also acknowledged the historical significance of her appearance at the Australian Open. "I'm the only Filipina in the draw this year, and I think the only Filipina that's ever been in the draw," she said. So there are positives to take away. When asked about comparisons to boxing icon Manny Pacquiao, Eala was quick to play them down. Pacquiao is on a different level, she said. When Manny had a match, the whole family was watching. There was lechon, there was popcorn. I think I'm still a bit far. What Eala does hope to pass on to young Filipino fans watching at home is a sense of resilience. What I want them to learn from me is to fight until the end, she said. More than my serve or how I move or how I hit. That fighting spirit, she believes, comes from a deep love of the sport. I get the strength to fight because I love tennis, Eala said. I love the sound of the ball, I love when a match is super tight and there's an important point. Tennis is a big part of my life. That's what keeps me going, and my family. I'm nowhere near the leagues of the greats. Djokovic, Sabalenka, Alcaraz, Alexandra Eala plays down huge social media numbers and Pacquiao comparisons opening serve, a moment in the spotlight. In the sprawling, manicured arenas of professional tennis, where giants like Novak Djokovic, Aryna Sabalenka, and Carlos Alcaraz hold court, it might seem almost surreal to imagine someone new breaking through the din with such magnetic force. But at the 2026 Australian Open, a young Filipina player did just that, Alexandra Eala. Despite a first-round loss in Melbourne, she walked off that court not with the bitter taste of defeat alone, but with something more profound. The realization that she had captured the attention and hearts of fans far beyond what most players experience early in their careers. Eala's reaction afterward was unexpectedly grounded. With poise unusual for someone just 20 years old, she didn't bathe in self-praise nor inflate her own standing. Instead, she offered a rare blend of humility and reflection, remarkably candid in a world where athletes often feel pressured to build grand narratives around themselves. I'm nowhere near the leagues of the greats, Djokovic, Sabalenka, Alcaraz, she said. But I like to think that I have a following for a reason, and that the platform I've built has a positive effect on my demographic. It's a remarkable statement, not just because of its content, but because of its honesty. Here is a rising star, embraced by tens of thousands, even as she reminds everyone, including herself, that greatness is still a journey, not a destination. Chapter 1. When crowds outshine the scoreboard. Tennis is a sport that prizes rankings, Grand Slam titles, and numbers etched in history.